welcome to my channel, Love Storyteller Tarot. My name's Jeanette, and I just thought I would do a little special reading because of the Nine of Cups, basically, because this little guy, I don't know if you can see it, I will make it bigger in a minute, but look how small it is. You can just see it. I just done the full moon reading, I think, about, I can't remember them all, but you know, the king, no, the King of Wands, I think it was, and the Emperor, and the situation around that, and the last full moon in Virgo, I saw a ladybird as well. But I went for a walk afterwards just to ground myself, and you can hardly see it there, but I had to get right down and I took the picture, and there you go. It's the ladybug again. I'd literally just finished doing the readings, and then I went for a walk, and you're supposed to count the spots, but it's hard to see. 1, 2, 3. They're supposed to have 7. It depends, I think, whether you have to count them whole or not, but they're about abundance, and you know, for the next year to 18 months there's supposed to be, you know, luck come in and everything. And I know you've put what it means on my channel as well, which is lovely, thank you. And I know it is the ladybird season, spring and autumn, I think. Is it spring and autumn? I think so. But yeah, it is the ladybird season, but I haven't seen any, and it was so small. You can see my shadow. I was literally walking, and I just, because I need to see with my glasses anyway, so for me to see that was unusual. I just saw it, and literally I'm walking this way and it crossed my path, so I had to take a picture. So I thought I'd do a little reading around, I say little, I doubt that very much, but you know, do a reading around the Nine of Cups, because this represents, you know, a wish fulfilled, the ladybird, and the Nine of Cups in the animal totem cards, it does. So, and I was just going to say about it is Underneath the Tuscan Sun, was the film I was on about. I realised in the full moon one, but thank you all for letting me know, which lets me know that you've watched it. So I don't think I'll be doing any spoilers really. I think it's quite an old film, but I just wanted to say really about the Nine of Cups, and about, you know, like I was saying before, about wishes fulfilled. And these, you know, they're different in different decks, but the one that I wanted to show you, well, I'm gonna be using this, you see, so I just thought I'd get these out. But you know, the Nine of Cups, this chappy is you know, quite, he's got his arms folded, like, and quite joyous and proud, and that, you know, he's got the 9 cups there. And on this one it's got, you know, happiness on this one, which is the Crowley card. And I can't remember this one. I think it was the very first deck I brought years ago. I ought to have a look, really, see what it is. I'll put it in the thingy. 9 of Cups, which is looks like a male again, you know, happy, and certainly, you know, is not lacking for want of quality. But this is on an emotional level. I love this card because it's all the cups, and but yeah, it's all about happiness. So that's what I'm trying to say about the happiness card. And I think, you know, Under the Tuscan Sun is brilliant, because you know, when she buys the property and she's talking to the guy, she said, you know, because she doubts her decision, she said, you know, I want a family here, I want a wedding, and you know, I want to be able to feed people, and I don't think that's going to happen. And then obviously towards the end, you know, the story that, you know, it does. And you know, because she finds her family, you find your family really, and you know, she fed the builders, and one became like a son to her, and then, you know, they got married, so she did the wedding there. and then, you know, her best friend ends up, because her partner leaves her, going there and having the baby there. So she got all her wishes, not in the way she thought she was going to get them. That's what I'm trying to say about the Nine of Cups. You know, the universe knows what will bring you happiness. And, you know, she did get all her wishes, and then, but in different ways. You know, he pointed it out to her. He said, well, you got all your wishes towards the end. And she said, oh yeah, I can see I have. And then, you know, at the end, she sat there in her chair, content and happy and joyful. And, you know, and then this guy comes along. I think he was English, actually. And, you know, he speaks to her. He searched her out because she's a writer and helps people write their books. And, you know, so he searched her out. But the key, the clue was, you know, it was the ladybird. The ladybird was on her head. Was it on her head? Or no, was it on her arm? I think it might have been on her arm. And he said, oh, you've got a ladybug there. And that was, you know, that's the Nine of Cups. That was her own happiness for herself. And I think it's In the Age of Adeline as well. Oh, another lovely film. I think I watched that 5 times. And you know, when I can't think of his name, but you know, he said, oh, you've got a ladybug in your hair, something in your hair, and he gets it out for her, and it's a ladybird. And you know, that's when he sees the scar on her arm and realizes that you know, who she is. So so they, you know, they are a sign. And that's why I got this one, but the red's come off here. I'm gonna have to try and find some paint to get that painted again. So, you know, I do believe in that, but it's about being realistic around it, you know. And all those things happened, there was challenges around all of those things. So, you know, but she had to follow the signs and follow her path after her heartbreak. So I just thought I'd do a reading with this in mind, really, and see what happens. I thought I'd use all the cards, so I don't know how this is going to work out, but let's have a go and let's see if we can a story unfolds, really. Whether it resonates with anyone, I don't know, but it's not about that, really. It's about telling the story around the Nine of Cups and see what comes out, really. So what are the most important messages for this storytelling, please, Spirit? That gives inspiration, hope and joy. Oh, those cards wanted to jump out. Hang on. Right, those cards wanted to jump out, so that was like that. So I'm going to leave that like that a minute until I finish shuffling, and then I'll start. Oh, oh dear, that one's fallen out. Okay. Okay, last one. Okay, so just split them in half and then they're ready to go. I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, like I said, but these are the 3 cards that have come out. So let's have a look. Oh, we've got the Justice card in reverse. So around the Nine of Cups situation, you know, that there's karmic justice, but it's not happening. It's not happening. There's an imbalance. The scales aren't being weighed properly around the Nine of Cups situation, because it's to do with disappointment, hurt and disappointment. That's why it hasn't come to fruition, and it's down to the Knight of Swords, really, which is he needs to, or she needs to. It'll be different for everybody, but somebody needs to take some action. Somebody needs to be the warrior, the soldier, you know, that take the courage to take action, is what I'm getting around this disappointment, because action needs to be taken, because you know, we've got the Justice card in reverse. So to balance this back out, because there isn't justice, there isn't, because I think in the Crowley cards, is it like on this one, which is the happiness, I think on the Justice card, I think that's called adjustment on there. I'm not too sure, but I think it is. So we're being asked, this something, like I said, the situation, there needs to be adjustment, there needs to be something, needs to be reversed in this situation, around the disappointment. It needs to be up this way. So around the disappointment, and the Knight needs to take action, really. Somebody needs to be the warrior and show some courage to sort this situation out, because, you know, we need to bring change, and change isn't happening. So if we look at the two, you know, there isn't change because of this justice situation, because of this adjustment that needs to happen. You know, and I'm thinking of the Adjustment Bureau again, because we will be going into Mercury retrograde. I might actually put this out as it goes Mercury retrograde. I'll have a think about it, see what it's telling me. But, you know, this card's all about balance, and this is about balance too. So, and they're both in reverse. So upright, you know, you're doing it, you're skillful, you know how to juggle, your love situations, you know, because it's all about knowing somebody so that you can balance things and bring joy into the relationship. So this is around the Nine of Cups situation, because we've had it twice now. So there needs to be karmic adjustment, because something isn't balanced karmically, you see, to do with that disappointment, and that's why this is in reverse, because change needs to happen. We've got the you know, it's because the energy of this person, I'm not going to say star signs, the energy of this person is, you know, he's a plodder, but he needs to take action and come in and speak his truth, or her, you know, take action and speak her truth. It'll be different for everybody, but this is this is usually a test, you see, and there you go, it's underneath the Justice card, the Karmic card. So that needs to be balanced, and somebody's stood still, because this horse has stood still. Somebody, you know, is contemplating, taking their time at sorting the situation out. Yeah, to do with the, you know, a relationship, that's you know, that's karmic, that's meant to be, as in, you know, you have a soul contract together, and that's upright, it's the union, but in reverse it's not, and it's all to do with the Justice card being in reverse. This union isn't happening because, you know, somebody's stood still, because that's the Five of Cups above, which is the disappointment in the relationship. Because upright, it can be, you know, a reconciliation, a joining, a coming together. and reversed, to me it's a separation. There's a separation. So and around the Queen of Cups, you know, but we all have the queens within us anyway. So we're, you know, but she's upright, so it's to do with a woman that's mature and loving and kind and tender and affectionate, and she's been that way with this person, you know, she's been that way, she's been loving, she's mature around this situation. If she was reversed, I'd be saying no, she hasn't, but she has. She's been the one that's been mature about it, in dealing with it and showing her feelings. You know, she trusted herself, she trusted this person, and she opened her heart to him. And you know, and it's not that she opens her heart, she's a good listener, she was there for this person, but you know, there's been disappointment around that, around this separation, because reverse for me is separation, and somebody needs to get off there, you know, take some action. They're not, they're around this karmic situation. There's a karmic debt to be paid, as to what I'm getting, and you know, it's, this change needs to happen, is about, well, there is an ending that's coming around the, you know, what we think about it, the situation, and how we feel as though we've been, you know, stabbed in the back. Someone feels they've been stabbed in the back, as in let down, because of an open heart situation, where somebody trusted and gave everything, really. So that's coming to an end. That's coming to an end, or it needs to come to an end. Because of this, we need to turn the Justice card upright, you know. And I just think that this person that's taking their time making a decision, or coming in to offer something to bring this change about, you know, that there has been some form of victory, but you know, now it's sort of having to protect what they've got on a physical level. On, you know, this is all about industrious, so it's about work and working hard. This person works really hard. They've worked really hard to get what they have in their life, and you know, this is that's why the victory card, or part of it, is there, that they've worked hard. You know, and this can be quite mundane sort of people, as in, you know, they're very good with their hands, very creative, but good with their hands in a very mundane everyday life situation. So, you know, your plumbers, your electricians, your craftsmen, to do with wood or building a house, builders, anything that's very solid and grounding and very practical, very practical. So, you know, this person has achieved that, and but this usually is an offer, but this offer is not happening because the Justice card is in reverse, and it needs to be, because they're putting up some sort of a fight. But yeah, where this separation is, there needs to be, somebody needs to be calling, and you could take that as a text message, or calling on the phone, or sending out something. You know, this chappie is saying, hey, I'm here, hi, you know, it's calling out to this person, because it's under the two of cups. So, and these are all about messages, but he's on a journey, you see, he's just arrived, or it could say that this person is going to be coming in and he's saying hello, because it's both the wands, you know. He's got the wand in his hand there, and yes, he's got some sort of victory, but he doesn't want to share that victory on his own. He does want to share. He does want to share, but this is like somebody coming back from a journey. I think it's somebody coming back from a journey. So someone's been on a journey, because this is very spiritual, these cards, and you know, they're coming back. They're saying hi, hello, I'm here. It's to do with the separation that happened. Yeah, to do with the Lovers cards. Look, the Lovers. I'm not going to be able to show all these cards because I'm doing it a little bit different here. But yeah, it's to do with the Lovers, which is, you know, a union coming together. And this is upright for the Queen of Cups. So, you know, it is about being in your emotional side and being true to yourself emotionally. How you're feeling about a situation gets you the union, really gets you the union, and turns this Two of Cups upright and the Two of Pentacles upright, where, you know, we need that change needs to happen. And what needs to happen for that change to come in? Well, for a start, that, you know, because that's next to it, someone needs to be calling out, shouting out, you know, to this person, to do with a union, because they're like married. They're in her wedding dress and he's in his wedding suit, maybe not traditionally, but you know, in the angels there sort of blessing this union. So I do feel that that's what's the calling is, because that's like a calling. And then we've got the you know, this is fate. This is the wheel of good fortune. It's upright, so this is good fortune. It is good fortune. Something good is around and coming in, and you know, needs to happen. But I do think that this person can't be the Knight of Pentacles. You know, I know that that's their energy, but in this situation they've got to be the Knight of Swords. And you know, the Knights are about communication, so they need to communicate about this disappointment, this love, emotional upset, this disappointment, to do with this separation, around, you know, hurt feelings around this relationship, really. And this is good fortune. So this cycle, the way this cycle comes to an end, is turning the, you know, juggling and balancing the change that needs to happen, really. This then will come to the end. The Queen of Cups, you know, she's exhausted by it all, and she just wants to love. She just wants to share her love. She just wants to open her heart again, because she's had to defend herself because she was hurt. But you know, her heart is opening. She's ready. She's wanting this union very much, because it's above that one. So she's wanting this union very much. She wants this cycle of, you know, this anxiety and this thought pattern of darkness, but this is completion. This is completion. So that cycle is coming to an end, so that this union can take place, because you know, it's fated. Well, all the relationships are fated, as you know, you're going to meet who you're going to meet, but at the end of the day, it's what you do with that. You know, the universe can only do so much, and bring in the people that are you know, you've agreed to meet up with on this earth plane to learn your lessons. I mean, the karmic card is, you know, you're having to learn a lesson, and a certain person is the only person that can help you with that lesson. But what we're trying, and we've had lots of those relationships to get to where we are today, you know, they're what I call your dance partners, and you might, each relationship you learn one or two steps of the dance, but what we're aiming for and we're trying to get to now is to, you know, to know the whole dance and to be practicing that dance out. So you've learnt your steps, you just want to put all those steps together and create you know, a loving, flowing dance, which symbolically represents your partner, you know. So and that's what this Wheel of Fortune is all about. But it is all about seasons, you see. You have to go with the flow of the seasons, but we are in springtime. You know, the blossoms are on the trees, and there's growth, the things are blossoming and happening, so that's very symbolic. So it does mean that things will be, you know, you've got a spring in your step, the sun's starting to appear, it's getting a bit warmer, you can hear the birds chirping. So it's freshness, it's new beginnings, the spring is. So this is what's happening, and we go with the seasons of love. We go with the seasons of love. In the springtime, it's like your honeymoon period. You're meeting somebody, you feel joy and love in your heart. So say it's that 3-month honeymoon period, getting to know each other, and everything looks rosy. And then you go into the summertime, which is, you know, you have to work towards the relationship and on the relationship. And then, you know, you get, if you do that, if you manage to get to the summer of love, you know, and because it can get things can get in the summer quite dry if it's really hot, and you know, you need the water to nourish the grounds, to nourish the plants, to keep, so you've got to keep paying attention to the relationship. You can't just let it wander. You know, it takes two conscious people, and to make the effort, really water that garden, water those feelings, and talk about it. Have your date nights, and then if you've done all that, you know, you get to the autumn, and as you know, the autumn this is the cup that's going to be full with you know, your wishes, your desires, your feelings, the feeling of contentment, and just feeling wonderful. And you know, that's the harvest time. That's the harvest time. And then of course, you know, all your hard work pays off if you can get to that, you know. But some people don't even get past the honeymoon stage. Some people are addicted to the honeymoon stage, and they move on very, very quickly, both men and women, because that's all they know, or they're just not aware, for many reasons. Or, you know, it gets too frightening for them when reality starts to hit in, and think, oh God, I've got to now work at that relationship, you know. And they turn round to you after the honeymoon time and say, well, actually, I don't think I want to put the work in it. And you're left, you know, on the floor, so to speak, with shock, because the honeymoon period was so wonderful. That's why you've got to do your homework beforehand, before even entering the honeymoon stage. You've got to do the homework beforehand. You've got to suss out this partner, and you've got to discern for yourself, you know, is this person coming in, or, you know, even if it is for a lesson, you've just got to know that, well, I'm going down this path, Spirit's guiding me down this path. I remember my one in 2004, And you know, I didn't realize that there was synchronicity to do with fate as well as synchronicity to do with destiny. But anyway, the fate synchronicity got me to the path that I needed to be on, so it doesn't matter. But you know, he was my greatest teacher, so that's what it's all about, really. Like in Eat, Pray, Love, you know, if you can see people as your teachers, and that you've learnt lessons, and you know, you face the shadow parts of yourself, the parts of yourself that you don't like about yourself, that sabotages relationships, then you know the truth's not held from you, and well, another person will reflect it back to you and show you what you're needing to learn, and they'll tell you, you'll hear certain words, and you know, your past is your past, and it gives you a clue as to who you was then and who you are now. But you know, you get to the harvest time where it's full of abundance in your relationships. It's true union, and then you go, you know, you end up traveling to the winter of this cycle, and again things are barren, you know, it goes into hibernation and things are barren, and the trees, the leaves on the trees fall off, so everything's bare. So you know, you've got to just go with that cycle and stick it out, really, because if you do, I think this is when people give up in relationships. They give up too early. You know, they bolt, as I say it, they bolt because they've showed somebody's seen a part of their shadow, and they've pointed it out, and they didn't want to see that reflection back, so they bolt. And then when they calm down and look at things, they think, oh right, because they assume that that person's not right for them, when in fact they were. And they think, oh right, okay, when they calm down, and then their pride gets in the way, that Five of Swords, the pride gets in the way, and it's like, oh well, okay, I'm wrong, but do I really want to, you know, tell yourself the truth? Do I really want to admit that I'm wrong? And you know, male or female, that power struggle, push pull situation, the codependency, all of it comes into it. And then, you know, mainly pride, I think. Somebody doesn't, you know, want to, and fear of abandonment or being rejected. It's the fear of the inner child, the wounded inner child. You know, if I do this, and I think that's what is the energy of everything that's going on, because this is a calling card. This is calling out. This is a shout out to this situation, this separation. That's what needs to happen. You know, one of the two involved needs to have the courage, be the soldier, and have the courage to, you know, risk being the fool, risk being rejected. That's the inner child's worst fear, is being rejected. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I will die if I'm rejected again. I will die. I will be on my back. I'll be on my back, and I don't know if I'll ever get back up again. That's the inner child, the wounded inner child, thinking those things. And you've got to bring the adult in, you know, the rational, sensible adult in, and say, well, let's look at it in a rational way. You know, let's look at it. Let's get all the facts, and let's look at it in a rational way and see where we go from there, really. But that's what happens. Somebody needs to take courage, you know, be that soldier, be that warrior. And it does take courage. It does take courage for people to step out of their comfort zones and risk looking the fool, risk their hearts again, the rejection again. But if you've survived it once, you'll survive it again, and it won't be as bad as losing in the first place. What am I getting now? I'm getting the film, I can see it, Tom Hanks in Castaway. I've got that actually in my book as well, so I won't say too much about it, but how I perceived it. But you know, he loses, it's an old film so I think most people know it, but he loses the love of his life, and he loses her because he's on the island, you know, because of the situation, and I go into all of the symbology of that in my book. And you know, he loses her, and then he comes back off the island, and then he loses her all over again. But it's not as painful as it was the first time around. So yeah, you've done the grieving, you've done the deep grieving the first time around. So the second time around, it won't be so bad, because you've already, if you felt those feelings, if you've truly felt those feelings and grieved, and you know when you're feeling those feelings and you're really grieving, you're on the floor, you're in pain, and you just never feel as though you're going to get out of it. And then one day, you know, slowly but surely you do. And the sickness in your stomach, and you know, the pain of it all, yeah, that's what causes the fear not to reach out again. And it's understandable. It's understandable. I don't think that people are bad. I just think people, you know, like those dark stories in the other ones, the dark stories in the other one, but somebody needs to be the brave soldier, the brave warrior, I think, to do with this disappointment, and to get this good fortune that's there. You know, the Lover's card is right next to it, and like I was saying, it's the winter. The winter symbolically can represent, the winter symbolically can represent, you know, somebody's become ill. You know, you need to be a good partner because somebody's become ill, or the other person is ill and they're needing to support you, whichever way around it is. You know, it's usually a test symbolically, the winter, to keep this wheel turning, but you are going to go through those seasons. And you know, we have to step out of the ego and put up, you know, leadership. I'm sure this year the number 9, I'm not sure, but I'm sure I heard one of the astrologers say that the number 9 is the leadership number, which is the Emperor in the tarot card, and he did come up in the full moon one. So you know, it is about being a leader, and my personal readings that I'm doing, the leadership card has come up. It's about putting somebody else's need before your own, stepping out of the ego. And that's a little bit dodgy ground, because you think, oh my God, am I going to be, and am I going to come across as a doormat? Is somebody going to walk all over me? How do you find that balance where, you know, you want to be there, you want to be supportive and compassionate and loving, you want to be that Queen of Cups, and her qualities, but you know, you think, well, will somebody walk all over me? Will they see me like a doormat? So you've got to have your boundaries in place. You've got to have things that are acceptable and that aren't acceptable, not being perfectionist about it, that, you know, what's acceptable to you and what isn't. And that's what I say, do your homework first before entering a relationship. Or, you know, if this separation's happened, then it's about doing your homework in between it and the split, maybe the reconciliation. You know, it's about learning about yourself, thinking back, well, how could I have dealt with that differently? You know, stepping out of the picture and observing it, thinking, how could I have acted differently? How could I have responded instead of reacting? You know, a reaction is from a wound. It's the Scorpio thing. A story with the frog and the scorpion, and I think it's on the internet, and you know, it's the frog, I think it's the Scorpio says to the frog, can you take me over to the other side? I think, was it that way around? And the frog says, no, you're ugly, and I can't remember which way around it is. And then he says, because he knows about his ego, and he says, oh well, only because you don't think you're up to it, you're not good enough. And then that was it, you know, you tinge somebody's ego, and it's like, oh right, I'll prove to you I can. So he does. And then of course, because the frog hurt the Scorpio, whichever way around it is, the Scorpion in the middle of the pond or whatever it is, he stings the frog, and then, you know, and then he said, what'd you do that for? He said, because you called me ugly. Well, there you go. And then what happens? There's not a win-win situation. They both die. So, and I liken it, the film Silver Linings. I say that in one of my posts. I don't think it's on there. I need to look that out, about a story about Silver Linings and how I see that film, and symbolically and psychologically and spiritually as well. So, you know, so that's why I've lost my track of thought now. Yeah, so that's why we're like that, you see, when you've given your heart and then you're scared of but you need to keep the wheel turning round and round this way. Then otherwise, if it goes the other way, you're having to go back over old ground. In other words, that's the wheel of karma. You're having to go back over old ground. You bring in new people that teach you what you need to be learning about a relationship, that you might not have got right, not right, but you might not have a balance, because it's about balanced out. Everything is trying to help you to balance. So the Wheel of Fortune that way is, you know, you attract the karmic relationship that is the lesson, rather than the destined relationship that supports you learning in your learning. You know, they're there to support you, as long as you keep this wheel of destiny, good fortune, and you know, being grateful for a relationship. A relationship is a gift, and don't take it for granted. You know, you need to work at it, and that's what these 4 seasons are. As long as you see it as a blessing, and not to be a doormat, but just keep working, keep turning this wheel around to do with your love relationships, then you know, you won't attract, you won't have to do the Justice card in reverse and go through another test, another lesson. I was told my last one, I've got it on my blog, I think, that the last one, my next man would be my last test, which was, because they named the person, didn't even realise that, and it was in my journals that I only looked up after the event. You know, he was my final test, and that so whoever's coming in next, you know, is going to be the Wheel of Fortune, the Destiny card, these cards here. So but we're needing to turn that Justice card up, because justice isn't happening, I think, because of people's egos, that their fears, scared to open their hearts, that sort of thing, really. But there is an end to that cycle there. So how are we doing for time? 44. Yeah, see, we've got the Ace of Cups in reverse, and that's why this, I think we're getting in our own way because I think which one was it, the full moon one in, you have to excuse me sometimes, I know it's not an excuse really, but I've got menopausal brain, I think, and I don't seem to remember like I used to, even though I eat healthy, I eat organic foods, I exercise, drink water, all of that. But anyway, that's another story. So yeah, I think this is in reverse because of this, you see, because of this. Something can't flow, feelings can't flow in this relationship because of the Justice card. We need them upright, and that's the reason that's there. And because that's like new beginning. Upright, it's a new beginning in love. It's feelings that are flowing. They're, you know, that can be quite overwhelming. That can really overwhelm, because men are very sensitive. They are very sensitive. Women are too, don't get me wrong. I'm not, you know, but men are very sensitive. I remember when I first started doing readings back in 1998 or 2000, and most of my clients that came to me then were men, and I just saw a whole different, my perspective just changed completely, because I had been programmed that men was a certain way because of my childhood and my wounds and my mother's relationships with men, and that was passed down. And you know, so me being the reader and giving the readings to these lovely, warm, caring men opened my eyes, you know, that they did, some of them did cry and break down, but then a lot was old school, and they were, you know, men don't cry, you know, men don't cry. They're programmed from these old belief systems that need to change now. But you know, justice, there's something out of balance, and it's to do with this person that's standing still, even though he's on a horse, the plodder I call him. That's it, you know, it's down here, it's this situation. He's defending what he thinks is a victory, but it's not a victory. It's a victory if someone feels that it's a victory because they don't have to go into those feelings and emotions. They're in their comfort zone. They're not being challenged to take a look at themselves, you know, so they feel safe, you know, they feel safe. And this is him keeping somebody away, saying, you know, but it is about bravery too, isn't it, this one? Is it or is it velour? But yeah, but it's around this new beginning, you see, because it's above it. It's around this new beginning in love, and this is the person that's putting a hold on the situation, is this person down here, because he's under the Justice card. So and then this is the Empress, and this is about nurturing, and it's in reverse because she's heavily pregnant. She's heavily pregnant. She's ready. She's upright. She's ready, and this would be ready for love. The emotions are there. It's bubbling. The heart's opening up. The excitement's there. But the Venus, the sword, the shield, it's, you know, love is there. She's waiting for quality. She's waiting for a quality relationship, a divine relationship. Something has substance, and you know, she's ready. And she's ready to give birth to that new beginning in love. But that's reverse and that's reverse. So she's This is about nurturing, you see, because it's about once that baby's born. First, it's about nurturing yourself when you're going through that 9-month pregnancy for most people, not everybody. You know, but she is heavily pregnant there, and it's about nurturing herself, feeding good food to herself, looking after herself, getting herself strong, ready to nest, ready to give birth. But you know, this is about a love relationship, so we're talking about a relationship here, and in reverse it means there isn't nurturing going on. There isn't the nurturing that needs to go on. And maybe it would seem in a way that you're having to mother somebody, and you really don't want a mother-child relationship in adult relationships. You want an equal. But it's not so much about that. It's about, you know, nurturing and caring and loving for another, with another, you know. But this isn't happening because there isn't the nurturing, and maybe the nurturing, that's part of the nurturing. You know, if somebody needs to call out, give a shout out to somebody in a nurturing way, to turn that up that way and to turn that up that way, and then justice goes up that way, and then change goes up that way, and then the two of cups goes up that way, because there's number two and number two. It's about balance, giving and receiving in a union, and that we need this to be up this way, this to be up this way, for this to be up this way, for the change to happen. So because that's a major arcana, and so is that nurturing, they were both in reversed. For justice to happen, nurturing needs to happen, you know, to oneself and to a potential partner, or a partner if you're already together. You know, you've got to get back to basics, because the Empress is all about getting back to basics, getting back to simplicity, quality time together to nurture. This is what I'm getting. And then that would turn all of them up the right way, so that the balance could happen. But it's not, because nurturing isn't happening, to do with this message, this call out, this shout out to somebody. Because there you go, that's the spiritual union for me. The spiritual union for me, when I see the Two of Wands, it's dominion. It's on the other card. You know, he's got the world in his hand. The world is, for him, it's how can I serve, because it's in the right hand. It's about giving. You know, how can I serve? How can I give of myself? How can I give of myself in this relationship? How can I give of myself so that it can change the world? You know, how can we move from one template of getting married because it was about survival, what to do with our ancestors and our grandparents and all of that? How can we move that template that was done for survival? You didn't marry for love. Love grew. Not that that was wrong, but how can we move from one template to another? How can I be of service to the world? How can I have this relationship and do my divine duty as well as in my creative passion? Why should, you know, why do you need to, it needs to be separated? Why can't you have both? You can have both. You can have, if you followed your divine path, your passion, you can have both, because that's part of it. You're happy, and then the relationship, the couple is happy. Whether you're single and waiting for a potential partner to come in, or whether some of you, if a relationship ended because of that's reversed, maybe ended for a silly reason, you know, it wasn't abusive or anything like that, then, you know, maybe it's about calling out to that person, making that call, so that this can all be turned round again, so that justice can prevail again, so that this union can happen, because the world needs it. And I don't mean in a codependency way where you're so focused on the other person you don't get to live this path, you don't get to give your gifts to the world, you stop being in union with the universe, because that's the first partnership, is the union with the universe. It's a union with the divine, and then a union with, if you're a man, a woman, or same-sex couples, it doesn't matter, it's the partner. You then get the union with the partner, but this has to come first. So, but that is your, you know, ultimate goal, is that, and it's upright, and so is the Lovers cards. But nurturing the world, whatever those gifts are for you. And oh, we're running out of time, just goes so quickly. And then the last card is the Page of Swords in reverse, you see. So this is like a message. Upright, yeah, he looks as though he's going to whack you, and it did come up in one of the other readings. But he's on a defense. I think that was the full moon one, in Scorpio. He's on defense. So like I said, even if you do give a shout out, a call out, to reverse this situation, you know, just be prepared, because people are wounded, they've got pride, you know, this young people, so it's showing the inner child, the wounded inner child. He wants to call out, she wants to call out, but they don't know how they're going to be received. And you know, it's like I said earlier, it's, oh, I can't see properly, what does that say, nearly finished. So you know, it's how am I going to be received, really. So yeah, this call out, this shout out needs to happen for communication, for two people to need to get back on the right page. What's going on underneath? Oh, there we go. Well, this is the strength card. This is the strength card, the bravery card. This is like all the hard work you've done on yourself spiritually. This is all your seminars, you reading your books, going for therapy, getting counselling, you know, this is all your hard work. And of course you're defending your ground. This is the warrior energy. You know, you're defending your ground. It is upright, but just make sure that those, you know, well, it's not, because it's behind. This is more of protecting yourself, really, this one, as well. So, but yeah, you're spiritually awakened from the Ace of Wands, you know, because they all carry the Ace of Wands. That's your spiritual awakening, the Ace of Wands. And this is your spiritual growth, and you know, you want to protect that. You're not going to give that up. You're not going to give that up just, well, you're not going to give it up for anyone, because if you do, then your relationships aren't going to work anyway. But you know, I think people are scared, maybe the women, because it does show a woman on here, but it shows a man here that he's looking out, he's contemplating. Well, the 3 is contemplation, but this is the union with the divine, and then contemplating, or maybe the next step with the 3, who's that partner going to be, who's the right partner for me. And she's saying, well, you know, I've worked hard on myself, because I do think it is. There's a lot of men, I think, that's going to be those that aren't already awake, you know, because I know there are a lot that are, but those that, you know, have been programmed to old school thinking, especially around the emotions, that sort of thing. I think it will be you know, it will take nurturance, it will take nurturing, and nurturing isn't happening. So it needs to be, the nurturing is the core. The nurturing is the core, because that's reverse for the relationship, to do with this emotional disappointment, really, is what I'm sensing. So there we go. Just hit the 1 hour. It goes so quickly. I was going to try and use all the cards, but it didn't happen. But I think I'll just pull one card to see, without looking, what is the overall outcome. What is the overall most important message for the overall outcome, please, Spirit, before this ends? What is the emotional, well, what is the outcome? The overall outcome, please, Spirit. Give us a clue. Oh, overall outcome. Right, okay. I think, because we're in year 9, and that is the 9 of Swords, I think this cycle, because the 10's there, is going to end. This depression's going to end, and this mental, it's the mental level. It's the mental level that needs to change. I think we've all been working on the mental levels, the mental thoughts, the mental belief system, the anxiety. There's no need for it anymore. So that's the overall message, and that's a 9, and that's a 9, you see. This is on the spiritual level, this is on the mental level, and it's coming to, at least coming to completion around this situation. But nurturing is the clue to get this karmic situation sorted, and for justice to prevail. Okay then, I hope that's helped, and that's around, that is around the 9 of Cups situation, the ladybird. Okay then, lots of love, see you soon, bye.